Have you ever seen a brand new product just come out of nowhere and completely dominate a market right from day one? Well, today we're going to break down a total masterclass in strategy. We're looking at how a pharmaceutical company launched a new drug and achieved just massive, instant success.
Okay, so let's set the stage. You've got a new drug entering a pretty competitive field. Expectations are high, sure, but what happened next, honestly, it was remarkable.
Just look at this number. 14 crore rupees. That's about 1.7 million US dollars. And that's how much Cipla's new drug Yurpeak made in sales in its very first month. Yeah, this isn't just a good launch. This is what you call a blockbuster launch.
Which of course brings us to the big question. How did they do it? How did they pull that off? I'll tell you right now. It wasn't just luck, and it wasn't just about having a good product. It was a brilliant and kind of counterintuitive strategy. Let's break it down.
Now, to really understand the victory, you first have to understand the battlefield. See, Yurpeak was launched to treat a condition called overactive bladder, or OAB for short.
So, what exactly is OAB? Well, it's a super common condition. It causes this frequent, sudden, and often really difficult to control urge to urinate. It affects millions of people and can have a huge impact on their quality of life.
And this is where it gets really interesting. Look at the gap on this chart. The current market for OAB drugs in India, about 500 crore rupees. But then look at the potential. An estimated 4 to 5 crore people are living with OAB. That huge difference points to a massive underserved population. A gigantic opportunity just sitting there.
So you have to ask, why weren't all these patients getting treated? Well, the older drugs, these things called anti-muscarinics, they came with some really significant side effects. We're talking severe dry mouth, constipation. They were especially a problem for elderly patients. The market was practically screaming for something safer, something easier to tolerate.
And this, right here, is where Cipla saw its opening. They didn't just tiptoe into the market, they burst in with the exact solution everyone had been waiting for.
So, meet the challenger, Yurpeak. Its active ingredient is mirabegron, and it's a newer class of drug that works in a totally different way than those older treatments.
Its core advantage really boiled down to one word: safety. Yurpeak had a much better safety profile, with way fewer of those annoying side effects. This made it the perfect option for that huge population of older patients who are, hesitant to try the existing stuff. So they had the right product, but as we're about to see, a great product isn't always enough.
And this brings us to the real heart of their incredible launch. Because their success wasn't just about what they were selling, it was all about where and how they sold it.
You see, the conventional wisdom, what everybody in the pharma industry just kind of assumed, was that OAB was an urban disease. The thinking was that all the awareness, the diagnoses, the treatments, it was all happening in the major metropolitan cities. So naturally, that's where most companies focused all their energy.
But Cipla had a totally different insight. They looked at that assumption and said, wait a minute. They realized OAB isn't a big city problem, it's a human problem. And the biggest opportunity wasn't in those crowded, competitive cities, but in the huge, underserved markets outside of them.
So here's exactly how they put that insight into action. First, they focused their efforts squarely on Tier 2 and Tier 3 towns and cities. Second, they sent out a massive field force to cover these areas. And third, and this is key, they didn't just sell. They focused on educating a whole range of doctors, not just the specialists like urologists, but also gynecologists and general physicians about OAB and the benefits of their new, safer drug.
This strategy, it didn't just let them compete. It fundamentally changed the entire game. Their goal was so much bigger than just grabbing a slice of the existing pie.
I mean, this quote from Cipla's CEO, Achin Gupta, it says everything. Our intent is not to just gain market share, but to transform the OBA landscape. Think about that. This wasn't about stealing customers from their rivals. It was about creating brand new ones. So the ultimate payoff here is just profound. By going into these overlooked markets and educating doctors, they're actually increasing how many people get diagnosed in the first place. They're bringing millions of people who were suffering in silence into the treatment fold for the very first time. They aren't just selling a drug, they're expanding the entire market. They're literally growing the whole pie for everyone.
And that really leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? Cipla's incredible success came from questioning a core assumption that pretty much everyone else took for granted. So the question for all of us is, what conventional wisdom in our own fields, in our work, or even in our own lives is just sitting there, waiting to be challenged?